Shorten high speed, 180 words per minute. Get ready. Comments. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have had an interesting discussion on this demand for grant for the last 2 days. At the beginning, I would submit that we are passing through a very difficult period at present. I would like to point out that the economy is under great strain. I am sure honorable members are aware that the government are not taking a complacent view of the situation. I may tell the honorable members that the economic survey presented to the House gives an account of the real situation of the economy. It will be clear that we have not tried to hide facts in any way. So I am not surprised that this situation was reflected in the debate in this House. When we are in difficulties, it is only natural that we try to use some harsh words. So far as I am concerned, I am not hurt by these harsh words. I think it will make me take greater efforts for the purpose of remedying the situation. I think you will agree that every member was concerned about the stagnation in industrial production. So far as this matter is concerned, I would point out that we have not yet got out of the difficult situation. There is no doubt that there has been some improvement in industrial production, but at the same time, it should be made clear that the tempo of industrial production has not picked up to the extent necessary. Many honorable members made points which I may say so were relevant from their point of view. But in my opinion, if we have to get over the situation, we have to take an overall view. From this point of view, we have to find out the basic causes for the stagnation. Unless we remove these basic causes, we may not be able to improve industrial production as a whole. With reference to the experience that we have gone through during the last 2 or 3 years, in my view, the basic infrastructure which is required for industrial development is not adequate. When I refer to this, I mean the energy which is required for the purpose of running the industry. Then, when I talk of energy in this connection, it is represented by coal and power. At the same time, I agree that transport is also involved in it. On this occasion, I have to point out that in all these three areas, we are not at all in a happy position because one affects the other. For the purpose of power production in the thermal stations, we want coal. So unless we produce coal, we will not be able to have power production. Even if there is coal, unless we are able to move it to consuming point, it will not be possible to produce power. If we do not produce coal, we cannot run the railways. So we try to improve the situation with regard to this basic infrastructure. Then I would like to point out that it is not merely a question of technical difficulties that we are facing. There are also human difficulties involved in it. So far as the railways are concerned, there is the problem of human relations. It must be realized that to the extent that it is affected, all the other sections will also be affected. So it is necessary for us to take note of this situation. I am mentioning this because just now a friend told me that the railwaymen wanted to go on strike. It is not necessary for me to point out that it will create great difficulties for the country as a whole. So this aspect will have to be kept in mind. But I may assure the House that we will do our best to see that this basic infrastructure is further improved. Then it must be remembered that side by side with this, raw material is important for industrial production. So far as this matter is concerned, it may be pointed out that steel is a general raw material which can be considered almost a basic requirement for industrial production. But in regard to this matter also, we have some difficulties. In regard to other raw materials also, there are some difficulties. So we have to meet the situation somehow or other. In this connection, it was stated by one honorable member that my ministry was not concerned with all the commodities, and it was asked how I was going to manage the situation. Of course, I can only say that it is not possible to load all the commodities on one ministry. So they have to be spread out among various ministries, and what is required is coordination among the various ministries for the purpose of achieving results. That is why a cabinet committee on industrial trade has been set up. Generally, the Minister for Industrial Development presides over it. On some occasions, the Prime Minister also, if necessary, presides over it. There, the various difficulties that arise between one ministry and another ministry are freely discussed and decisions taken. In regard to matters which should have taken several months, we take decisions then and there because we discuss the problems across the table. I cannot say that we have reached the maximum efficiency, but I am sure that we are in the right direction.